In today's video, we've got a new look at the Watcher and some activities that he might be up to, as well as Caiaphas and the Pharisees moving ahead with their plot to kill Jesus. Got some pretty interesting stuff from this week, days 33 through 37. So, without further ado, hello, my name is Eli Hollingsworth. Welcome back to Against the Current, a The Chosen podcast, and let's go ahead and roll that intro. Alright, so starting off, we have this clip from director Dallas Jenkins right here. You can see here is what looks to be someone who's a member of the Sanhedrin, kind of an older guy. This is going to be a new character, and another new character who seems to be maybe a Pharisee. They're walking through the synagogue or either this person's home. It's unclear who either of these people are. They're completely new characters, but it seems like they might have a little bit of a role in this season and in this episode that they're in, because they're definitely part of the Pharisee party. But this younger guy, I'm not sure who he's going to be, or even if he's, even an actor, or if he's even going to be in the episode. But these two guys are just here and they're walking. We don't get anything from this. It's kind of mysterious, honestly. But what it tells me is that these two people are someone you might want to keep your eye on. So, pretty interesting scene. But next, let's take a look at this picture from director Dallas Jenkins right here. Now, as you can see here, this is very, very interesting. I don't know what the Watcher is doing here, but he's got a lot of scrolls on this table here with a lot of writings and a lot of books. He's definitely studying something very intently, or doing a major study on something or someone. Maybe Jesus. Maybe he's writing about what he's seen about Jesus. Maybe this is, confirming speculation that some people have that he might be, involved in the writing of the Gospels, whoever this Watcher is, or if he's just one of the witnesses to Jesus' life and ministry. We still, honestly, I have no idea who the Watcher is going to be. But I am greatly intrigued as to see what Dallas and the story team, Tyler and Ryan, have planned for this guy, what he's going to play, what part he's going to have in all of this, and what significance he's going to have in Season 5. Maybe we'll get more, as to who he is and why he's here, because it does keep me up at night. I don't get very much sleep anymore because of this guy. But very interesting. Love to see what the Watcher's doing here when the season comes out next year. But moving on to day 34, we have this clip from director Dallas Jenkins right here.
So astute. Money is more powerful than words bandied about by radicals.
We all have setbacks. They can be hard to swallow.
So what we can see here, this is a pretty funny, unique scene here. We have these Pharisees walking, Yanni and the other guy, and this new character, an older man who looks to be maybe he's a part of the Sanhedrin or someone important, but he's talking about how money is more important than the teachings of a radical teacher. And then Barnaby interrupts and says, it's okay, we all have our setbacks. So I believe this is that, after the aftermath of Jesus' big debate that he has with the Pharisees, or maybe Jesus said something that really stuck it to the Pharisees. This is my mind goes to, this is just after Jesus' big, debacle with the Pharisees. The Pharisees ask, do your powers come from God or man? And then Jesus says, answer me this. Did John the Baptist's baptism come from God or man? And they say, well, we don't know. And Jesus says, well, then I want to answer your question because you didn't answer mine. So that's part of this big scene where Jesus and the Pharisees have a very heated discussion, if you want to call it. And then it seems like maybe the Pharisees lose that little debate, or the people are just greatly in Jesus' favor. And Barnaby's poking fun at them because we know that Barnaby and Shmuel are going to be in that scene. It's going to be fun to see the Pharisees, kind of getting embarrassed and humiliated by Jesus. But moving on to day 35, we have this clip from director Dallas Jenkins right here.
Down below, sir. Camera cut.
Here we go. Camera set and background.
Background, go ahead.
And action.
Stay dressed for action. Keep your lamps burning and be like men who are waiting for their master to come home from the wedding.
So if you listen closely, you can hear Simon maybe giving a second chance at his sermon here, or just, retrying, or just, going off of something that Jesus has already said in the show. This sounds to be like the parable of the 10 virgins, where a master went away, and then these virgins had their oils lit with oil and these lamps going, and they waited until the master came back. The wise ones still had their lamps burning because they were waiting diligently for their master to return. This is what Peter's referring to here that he says. So this is interesting, and I think Peter's referring to the parable of the 10 virgins. So maybe either Peter, retried his sermon and tried to give the parable of the virgins to these people and succeeded in saying it, because it sounds like he's pretty confident here, and the people are all listening very intently, or Peter's just going off of something that Jesus said, or it'll tie into something that we'll see from this next picture from Dallas Jenkins, which is very, very cool. But great to see that Peter's, trying again with this another sermon. That was what seems to be happening here after we know that his last one didn't go so well. His first sermon So you can go ahead and check out my video on that if you haven't seen it already. But moving on to day 36, we have this clip from director Dallas Jenkins right here.
And doors. Doors.
And this is very interesting and also, kind of depressing because we have Shmuel walking into the synagogue here. Now, I believe Shmuel is looking determined and, kind of maybe a little regretful as he's walking into the steps of the synagogue, maybe to join a Sanhedrin meeting or a council meeting about Jesus and how they're about to put him to death. But Shmuel seems to be determined here and maybe holding something. Maybe he's just grabbing onto his Pharisee cloak, but it might look like he's holding something. So maybe Shmuel's getting ready to stand up and testify against Jesus that he needs to be crucified, or that he agrees with the fact that Jesus needs to be put to death. And Shmuel's maybe going to be offering his writings and documentation of Jesus' life and ministry and all the things that he's done while he's been here for the past 3 years, and how Shmuel uses that against him to get him to be crucified, or to get the Sanhedrin to fully decide that Jesus needs to be out of the picture. And we also get this picture from Dallas Jenkins, which is from this night shoot here, where there are a few other videos and pictures of these lanterns and these lights here and this festive looking party, which I can't really tell what's going to be, but it looks like it might be some kind of wedding. Maybe this is a flashback to a wedding scene, since it wouldn't make sense for there to be a wedding on Passover week. Or maybe it's some kind of personification of the 10 virgins parable that Peter was giving that we just saw in the previous clip. I don't know, but it looks like a very festive party, and there's a lot of great food there that the props team set up for people to eat. So, I don't know, but this scene looks like it could be very festive. It was a night shoot, took place at night, and we don't really know which of our main characters are in here. I didn't recognize anybody, but this is a scene to keep in mind, and this is going to be an interesting one nonetheless. But moving on to day 37, we have this picture right here from cast and crew BTS. Which is of the synagogue. And this is where the scenes were filmed for this day, and we get some pretty intense and interesting ones that we're going to look at right here.
How in Hades are you going to get Pilate to sanction such an exhibition?
He wants this sorted out to decide as much as we do.
Who said we all feel him to be a thorn? You'd be lying to say you haven't watched.
So, this clip is very, very sad because the Pharisees are questioning Shmuel about how they're going to get Pilate to sanction Jesus to be crucified. You can see Caiaphas standing there in his high priest garb. He's wearing his blue robes and he's looking very professional and high. And they're questioning Shmuel, how do we get Pilate to sanction an execution of Jesus? And Shmuel says Pilate wants him out of the way just as much as we do, which is super interesting and very scary because now Shmuel is fully testifying against Jesus. As we saw at the end of Season 4, The Chosen kind of faked us out that Shmuel was going to be, coming to Jesus, but instead he fully rejected Jesus and now is going against him. So this is really sad and really unfortunate. And I think it's safe to say that we haven't seen Yusuf in any of these synagogue scenes, by the way. So it seems that Yusuf is going to be, not involved in any of this crucifying of Jesus, but very sad that Shmuel is now not a good guy anymore. He is a bad guy. But yeah, this is interesting, and can't wait to see how all of this unfolds.
To this endless strife in our community, Jesus, the Nazarene, must be put to death.
That would only create more strife.
So the wind reap the wild wind.
We don't have the authority.
How in Hades are you going to get Pilate to sanction such an
So we can see here, it looks like the actual scene before was just rehearsal of this Pharisee saying, how in Hades are we going to get Pilate to sanction an execution? Shmuel, I believe, is behind that pole. We just barely can't see him there. But these Pharisees are debating because the Gadara says that we need to put Jesus to death. And the other Pharisee standing there says that would only cause more strife. So this is kind of the Sanhedrin debating about how they can put Jesus to death and working through exactly how they're going to do it and how that's going to happen and how all of this is going to unfold, which is very scary, and it shows just how close we are to the end of the story, which is really, really sad and still super interesting nonetheless. And I can't wait to see all of these scenes in The Chosen Season 5 next year. They're going to be amazing. So there you have it. There's days 33 through 37 of Season 5 filming, roughly week 8. I'm kind of basing them maybe not the same way that The Chosen's basing them off of, but in my mind it's week 8, and we got some interesting stuff this week. Let me know what you thought about everything that I shared about in this video. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I would love to hear from all of you. Make sure to subscribe to Against the Current and The Chosen podcast if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Binge season.